All right, we're going to start a CNC project. I want to show you guys how to take an image and get it onto a piece of wood. In the wood shop here, we're going to use the CNC router in the room. In order to do that, we first have to find a image that we would like to put on there. So I just went to Google and I'm just going to type in, I'll just do a search here. So I could go Minnesota Vikings, black and white logo. See what comes up. Okay, and the reason we do black and white, it just makes it easier when we have a nice, clean, crisp black and white image to bring into the software that I'm going to show you in just a minute here. So find something that has really, really nice, simple details. For example, I wouldn't want something with a black background. All right, I want a white background and then clean, crisp black lines. So I could click on this image here. This one looks great. All right, if I could do color, but there's all these little details and shades and this and that, and I'd spend a lot more time um, editing the file, which I don't want to do. So you want to find something like this. All right. Then what I do on my computer, I'm going to right click and hit with my computer mouse and hit save image as. And I'm just going to call this Vikings logo. And you can save it right to the desktop. Okay, so if you don't see this, you go to this PC, desktop, you can save it right there. Okay, now I'm going to minimize the web browser and I'm going to open up a software program on the computer called Vcarve Pro. So open up Vcarve Pro. Hey, this is basically the software that will tell the CNC router where to cut on the image. All right, so once you first open this up, on the left here, you're going to see the option, different tasks you can do. You can see different files that I opened up before. There's tutorials on how to do stuff that they've created, not me, but Vectric, this company. There's some other things over here. But you're going to anyways go up to create new file. Okay, things you want to make sure that are set up. Job type, we can go single-sided, double-sided, rotary. We're going to go single-sided, so make sure that's checked. Now we need to know the X, Y, and Z axis or the dimensions of our board. So let's say I had a board that was 20 inches long. I would type that in there and you can see how that changed. And maybe that board was 25 inches wide and it's probably 3/4 of an inch thick, which the decimal for that is 0.75. D0 position. We'll talk about this later, but you go material surface, so make sure that's checked. Don't do anything here. And then I can just come down and click OK. Now I have some different tools that pop up. So there's some toolbars here. There's also a little tool tab over here, and I'll explain what this does in a minute. So what I want to do now is bring my image in. Anything in the white space here, this white space represents your board. So anything I put on there will ultimately get cut. All right. And there's some different alignment tools and this and that. So let's bring in the file. So the very first thing you want to go is highlight over these. And you want to find the one that says import vectors. Not that one. That's only if you did something like in Adobe Illustrator. But import a bitmap. A bitmap is a picture. So I'm going to left click on that. Come down until I find my Vikings logo, which is right here. And that was on my desktop. Click open. And there it is. Okay. Now I need to doctor this up a little bit. I need to do some things to it. So all I do is I left click on the image. All right. And I'm going to go over to this little bird right here that says trace the bitmap, trace the picture. So it's going to create an outline over all of these lines, black and white lines right now. All right. Right now, this is known as a raster image. It's got a bunch of little pixels. CNC machines don't know what to do with pixels. They need lines called vectors. So this little birdie right here, it says trace bitmap. It'll fit vectors to selected bitmap. So you click it. Okay, make sure black and white is selected. Go down, and all you have to do is hit preview and then click apply. After it did that, it traced lines on there. I'll show you in a minute. click close. Now I can come over here and left click on my image. Okay, and I need to get that out of the way. That's the one I actually want there. And I want to delete the original one. Okay, so I'm going to click back on this. And there's some alignment tools. All right, align selected objects, distort it. So I'm going to go align objects. And I want to go up to align to material. That will put it right in the center. Okay, so I left click there. Click close. Now maybe I want to adjust the side of this. On my keyboard, I can hold shift. Okay, and I can grab this little white circle and I can make it bigger or smaller. So let's say I want to do that. There we go, let off the keyboard. Okay, so now everywhere there's a line, that's where the router is going to cut. I want to get rid of these words down below because I don't like those. There's a couple different ways to do this. The first thing I'm going to do is come to my image and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say ungroup objects, back to original layer. Click. Okay, now what happens is I can come in and edit different parts of these. And you can see if I click up here, I can actually start deleting lines. But I want to come down here and delete the text on my keyboard. So I highlight it. On my keyboard, I hit the word delete, and now it's gone. Now I want to left click on the white space and make a box just with my cursor here. Drag it over. And I want to right click again once it's highlighted. And I want to go back and group objects. So I left click. Okay, so now if I left click on there, everything's locked together. Now I can't edit individual parts. So if I wanted to add text, I could come over here and grab the draw text within a vector box, left click. Okay, and it's going to start, the box that's selected was my artboard here. And I could just say Minnesota Vikings. Okay, and I could select different types of fonts and see what they have available to me there. Okay, maybe I like that one. And then I can just click close. I can click on that, double click, and then there's this little white arrow that pops up right in the middle. Left click, and I can move this down. Maybe I want it right below. Maybe I want to move the image up. So I left click, and then on the arrows on my keyboard, I can move this up slightly. Okay, so you can start moving around different pieces until you get it right where you want. Okay, now I want to create what's called a tool path. Right now I have vector lines everywhere. This is good to go, but I need to tell the CNC router bit where to cut. Right now the machine doesn't know what to do. So I have to left click and highlight everything. Then I'm going to go over to this thing called tool paths. Okay, you're going to come down to the one that says profile tool path. So what a profile is, it means it's going to follow along a vector line. There's other things I can do in here that we're not going to get into right now. Profile tool path. Start depth, cutting depth. So I can control how deep the cut is with the router bit. My start depth is 0. Your cut depth, I would go with either, if you have a lot of really, really fine detail and lines that are tight, you might want to go like 0.4. If your image, like these letters down here are really, really simple, I could go deeper, but I wouldn't go deeper than 0.06. Where do I get this information from? This is the bit that I have selected, okay? So I already did a couple test runs, and I like the look of the 0.06, so I might do that. Or for this one, maybe I'll do like something like 0.04 or 0.05. Okay, the next thing it asks you to select the tool. The tool we have in there is a 60-degree V-bit, and it's a 1/4 inch bit. So if you didn't see that tool right there, and it might automatically pop up, I would go to select, left click, and then I'd come down to V-bits, and I'd select the one that is 60 degrees, 1/4 inch. Okay, then I would come over here. This information is really, really important. And when you go to use this, this might already be set up for you, but just double check it. Your diameter should be 0.25. Your angle should be 60. That's the bit I have installed on the machine. Number of flutes, that's cutting surfaces. I have 3, so make sure that's 3. Pass per depth is going to be 0.05. Okay, so for example, if you were cutting something that was 0.1 deep, it would do 2 passes around on your board, but we don't want to take off a lot. If you take off too much material per pass with the router bit, it'll break. Spindle speed, make sure you have 10,000 RPMs punched in right here. Feed rate should be 25, plunge rate 7, and then tool number 1. Once all that information is good there, hit select. And like I said, it might already or apply. I already have it punched in and I already have this bit saved, so I can just hit select. Okay. Sometimes the screen closes. Go back up to toolpaths, left click on it. Now I should have 1 pass here, which is great. Machine vectors, I want to be on it. I can do inside or I can do outside. I want to be right on the line. You don't need anything here. I can scroll down, project toolpath onto the 3D model. I want to do that, and then I want to give it a name. Vikings logo. So do something that's specific to yours so you can find it. And then I'm going to hit calculate. When it does that, now it's all blue, and I see red lines. That's where the bit's going to move. Once again, if you lose the toolpath tab, left click there or hover over it and it pops back up. And all you need to do is hit preview selected toolpath. So I'm going to do that, and then it's going to show me exactly what it's going to look like before I cut it. Once you get the look you like, or let's say I didn't like that and I wanted to reset the preview, I can now get a clean screen. I could go back up to this 2D or 3D tab, and I could go toolpaths and I could hit close, and maybe I wanted to go a little deeper. Okay. So if I wanted to go a little deeper, I could right click on the toolpath and I could go edit. And maybe I wanted to go 0.06. And maybe I wanted to go a little deeper. I have to recalculate it, calculate at the bottom. Okay, preview all toolpaths. There it is. And maybe I say, okay, yeah, that's the look I like.